Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited to be here today. This is Mother Daughter Duos, and today is our Mother's Day reunion. So we're super excited today. I'm here with Christy and Jackie. Christy at Meeting Wellness. My name is Robin Heron, and I am your carnivorous grandma. And this is my mom, Bernice. If you guys remember her from our last session of Mother Daughter Duos. So, Christy, do you want to introduce you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. We were feeling brave, Robin, because last time it wasn't live. It was a pre-recorded. This time we get our moms live on camera, which I absolutely love. And this wonderful lady here is my mom, Jackie, and we had such a great time speaking with you, wonderful ladies, last time. That I think it wasn't very long after that. I was like, we need to do a part 2 for Mother's Day. So it's finally here, and I'm super excited to be here with everybody today.
Me
We're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff, Robin.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about, because I'm more of a carnivore, as is Robin. My mom is still keto. And we'll just leave it up to Bernice to talk about what she's been up to. But we're going to kind of weave in like family challenges around holidays, the way that we eat and how it affects our families, and maybe even some generational stuff like what did our grandparents, our great grandparents do? Because these wise women here probably have some insights for us in that regard. So I'm excited to get into it.
Me too. All right. So, Christy, do you want to start out with the next segment?
Yeah, let's go for it. So I have been eating carnivore. I mean, it's almost my carniversary, you guys. June would be
Awesome.
1 year for me on carnivore. But I did start keto, February of last year. But yes, carnivore for almost a year. And I just feel like the benefits that I've gotten. Oh, hi, Simpson. Nice to see you.
Simpson.
The benefits that I've gotten from that, I started experiencing, I mean, almost right away. And they just haven't diminished at all. So it's like all this energy, the food freedom. I'm not having to count stuff anymore, and unless I just want to see what's going on. I've done a few things where I've gone in and counted like what's my fat to protein ratio and things like that. But I don't feel like that's mandatory or necessary. I've discovered new cuts of meat that I didn't know existed and that I really, really enjoy, like picanha.
Tanya.
Picanha. Um, and I've also, we'll get into more of this later, but I've even tweaked some old family favorites, to
Nice.
suit my new way of eating, which I think is super exciting. But yeah, I sleep better. I wake up with more energy. As I'm driving to work, let's say I'm not like, when's my nap? Like, I'm
Right.
all right, let's go, more excited for the day. And then my mom followed me a couple months in, and now my son about 3 months ago has started eating, a ketogenic diet. So it's the ripple effect too. Um, and so I don't see myself really ever going back to the way it was before, with the amount of brain fog, with the worry about, calories, my horrible body image, the acne that I had, the inflammation that was creeping up in my joints. Why would I go back there? So
Plus, it's delicious.
plus it's delicious. I mean, people say that it's restrictive, but I don't feel restricted at all. So
I agree. I absolutely agree. And, some of the same kinds of benefits that you just talked about are some of the things that I've also seen. Majorly for me would be my eczema. So I have had eczema since I was a baby, right? I mean, terrible. She used to have to put socks on my hands and stuff to keep me from scratching myself up. Terrible, terrible eczema. And over the last, 30 years or whatever, I've had it really bad on my face. To where I had these raccoon eyes and then like a dark circle around my mouth because it just itched all the time. And that has been totally alleviated. I actually have been using this eczema lotion on my face for literally 30 years. And then all of a sudden, I realized I was not having to use it. I've only had to use it maybe 4 or 5 times over the course of the last, year, little over a year that I've been on carnivore. And then the IBS, like that
Mhm.
terrible, terrible stomach aches and constipation and stuff that I was struggling with just went away like magic. And I didn't realize how I had never actually had normal bowel movements. So until I actually did, and I was like, this is this is absolutely amazing.
Mm.
And then the food freedom. So as Christy, as you were talking about, I used to obsess and obsess and obsess over food. I would think about what am I going to be eating next? Every minute of every day, I was constantly obsessing about food and thinking about food and talking about food. And so that food freedom is really, the mental freedom is a major blessing, but also the fact that I feel like I have the freedom to make the choices that I want to make rather than I feel like the food making the choices for me.
Mhm.
So sugar definitely is highly addictive and it talks. And I
Mhm.
was telling my husband this the other day. I was like, the box of Thin Mint cookies out in the freezer would be chattering to me,
Yeah.
talking to me, telling me, you will not be satisfied until you finish eating all of these Thin Mints.
All the
And I would
cookies.
eat the whole roll.
Mhm.
I would eat the whole roll and then try not to open the next roll because as soon as I open the roll, they start talking.
Mhm.
So he was like, food does not talk. I'm like, it does. It does
Yep.
talk. It talks from the cabinets, it talks out of the refrigerator, and it talks out of the freezer.
And that was debilitating because part of your brain doesn't want to do it because you
Right.
know it's not good for you, but then you really want to. Then you do, then you feel terrible, then you feel
Yep.
guilty.
Yep.
So it's this whole vicious cycle. But then once that like sugar coma wears off, you want to go do it again, and
Exactly.
so it's like you're never feeling good around food. It's just terrible.
Right. Yep. So that is such an amazing, that mental clarity, being able to maintain my weight. I'm not gaining a lot of weight. Like I would normally be doing. If I was not on a diet, I would definitely be gaining weight. And I feel like I'm not on a diet anymore, which is incredible because I've been on a diet pretty much most of my adult life,
Agreed.
most of my teenage life too. So that's challenging. So Jackie, do you want to talk a little bit about what's been happening with you with your keto diet?
Well, I think it's easier for me because I'm the only one in my house. So I only have myself to blame if I bring in something inappropriate, which I don't do really. Um, my thing now is I'm pretty good about eating what I'm supposed to be eating. Every once in a while, if I go somewhere and it's a special occasion, I might have one bite of something. Like for instance, I went on a trip to Greece and I wanted to experience all the food they had to offer. And I told myself, I'm going to have one bite to experience it, and then that'll be it. And I really was able to stick to that, which kind of surprised me.
Yes.
It was interesting, and I think it was part of the trip to experience all the different kinds of foods, that they have to offer there. But when I'm at home, there's really not a problem because I don't bring anything into my house that I don't want to eat. My problem is I love to munch on nuts and eat cheese, and so I sometimes over snack on those.
That's
a bit.
That is a classic keto challenge,
Yeah,
Robin,
yeah.
because I know you've been keto
There's
before.
some
When I was
Yes.
keto, I had a hard time controlling nuts.
Yep.
She's like cheese and cream cheese. Like I would eat a little, I'd go for like a little cream cheese and then I'd be like, just a little more. And the next thing I know, I've eaten all, 8 ounces.
Right. Yes. That's absolutely true.
Yesterday.
Yeah. And
That's a challenge on the keto diet. I feel like, that's probably why keto ended up not being the choice for me
Mhm.
was because of the lack of control that I would have around certain foods. And I know like Dr. Wiedemann talks about having sober behavior around different foods. And I didn't have sober behavior around a lot of different foods, including nuts. So
especially nuts for me, like, because I still do include some dairy, but I don't feel like it's causing a problem for me now. Like, I'm not over consuming dairy or going back for more dairy. But when I was keto and I still had all that other stuff in too, and I was adding a lot of sweet taste to it, and I haven't 100% cut out sweet taste, but like I do cream cheese with like some vanilla stevia stuff on there, like the drops, and it was like, ooh, that's like cheesecake. Let me go get some more, and then let me put some nuts on top because that's kind of like the crust, and it's like salty and it's sweet, and then and then I would just be like yum yum yum, and
Sounds good. I'm gonna try that.
that actually sounds amazing.
This is not advice. This is a warning.
Warning.
So,
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I'm so much happier being carnivore because I haven't given up totally dairy, but I don't have that struggle, I would say.
Yeah. So, Mom, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've been doing over the last, when did we meet last? About 6 months ago?
Has it been 6 months?
I think it's been about 6 months.
Yeah. Well, when we met, I was trying to try to do carnivore. And I tried for a solid month, but I started feeling like I want some other stuff. I wanted some other things, And so I talked to Robin and I said, well, maybe I just go ketovore. And then because I'm looking at my phone, scrolling and seeing all these different things. Oh, you should try this. You should try this. So I said, well, let's try Weight Watchers again for the third time. So I went on Weight Watchers, and I was on Weight Watchers for 2 weeks, and I hadn't lost 1 pound. And so I got rid of Weight Watchers. And my problem is I don't like meat like that. Meat is like an appetizer, or meat is like a dessert. But my main meal, I'm having a hard time just eating meat. Robin loves meat. She's always loved meat. She just loves meat. She could just eat it. I'm like, so I've been looking at different people online talking about the carnivore, listening to them and finding out all this information. I spend a lot of time online just listening to that. Trying to figure how can I do it without eating just meat. And I don't like eggs. So eggs is not something I love to eat. I'll eat a boiled egg, or I'll eat egg salad, or I'll eat eggs in potato salad. But just to eat fried eggs or scrambled eggs, I don't really care for. I never have. So I'm like, well, what would I be eating? Just meat? Like Robin's doing? Then she makes this bowl with sausage in it, with ground beef. I don't really care for ground beef. Then she puts her eggs on it. Then she puts steak bites. Yeah, I'm like, and then she starts eating it and says, good.
Horrible.
So I'm having a hard time. And then I have my husband in the house. My husband, I have to cook for him. And then I have people at my job. I'm taking desserts all the time. I'm taking banana bread. I'm taking carrot cake. I'm taking stuff and just giving it because they like that stuff. So I just make it all the time. And I just take it to them. Now, tomorrow, I'm making 48 cupcakes. And there are mini cupcakes. And there's 24 is going to be banana nut. And the other 24 is going to be blueberry. Now, that's not something that I really like for myself. I'll make it for other people, but I'm not really crazy about that. What I have a hard time with is that salt. I like salty chips. I could eat chips for dinner and let it just be dinner. This is what my dinner is. I had chips for dinner. I don't eat a meal, sit down and have a meal. Because in the morning I'm never hungry. I don't eat anything until in the afternoon when if I'm at work, it's 1 or 2 o'clock, and I'm so hungry, so I'm just struggling. I'm trying, and my main goal was, I want to lose weight. I don't really have any health issues. My health, is good. I don't really have any health, except I had a knee replacement, but other than that, I just need to lose weight.
So I just want to ask you guys in the audience, if you guys have any suggestions. My mom has asked a couple of times, how can I do this? How can I do this? We're going to go about answering that question as best as we can. But if you have suggestions, please put those suggestions in the chat and we'll be happy to help her out here. We know that it can be a struggle. We see people struggling with staying carnivore or keto or ketovore all the time. People are going back and forth and they're really trying to get back on it. Even I, when I was keto, could not stay keto. I was Cheeto. I always call it Cheeto because I would consistently cheat. I would gain all this weight and then I would try to go back to it. That's why I'm carnivore today, because I couldn't maintain myself on keto. So my thinking around this is like a common occurrence, a common challenge with this way of eating and being able to stay on it. I definitely think that I know that my mom, her doctor told her that she was not allowed to do it. So I really feel like that had an impact because she was around, about 3 or so weeks into it when her doctor said, you cannot do that. So that's one thing, is that I really felt like that influenced you. Although you say it doesn't, it impacted you because those doctors are authority figures, right? So
did the doctor give a reason?
She needs fiber.
She said that I had to have some vegetables. I needed vegetables. I needed some fiber. I got to have some carbs. I got to have all that stuff. She said, you need all of that. You need to have that. But I just want to make a comment on this man right here, Ricky Lee. He said probably with those chips is what they cook them in seed oils.
Yes.
But what about just taking a potato, cutting it up, throwing it in some avocado oil? That isn't that seed.
Not avocado oil, but maybe
some lard. Some lard. So that would be better. That would be better than like Lay's. That would be better for sure because at least it's
what I did do
and a healthy fat.
I had some pig, what do you call those? Pig ham hocks. I cooked them ham hocks, and the fat part that's on the outside of them. I cooked them, and I was put some salt on them. I was eating. They was just really, really fatty. And
there you go.
That was good.
So I think that's a key, right? Is to eat fatty meat.
That's right.
If you don't like eggs, don't eat eggs. I was having an egg aversion for a while, and I just stopped eating eggs for a while. But eat fatty meats, and that once you get past that initial carb cravings.
The guy said I throw rocks at veggies. Funny.
Yeah, so me too. I throw rocks at veggies too. So there are ways to do it. You know what I mean?
My husband's a diabetic, and he needs to have really low carbs. And I think something that I probably could go back on the keto diet. I could go because I went on the keto diet for 3 months, and I lost like 25 pounds. And what happened? How I got off of it was I was doing this keto diet, and I was doing it so well, and I was making stuff. I was making different things with what do you call it? The flour, the almond flour. I was doing real good. And then 2 or 3 people said, "Wow, you've lost so much weight. You look so good." And I was like, "Oh, I'm there." I felt like, "Oh, I made it. So I can go back to eating everything I was eating before." And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I gained that weight right back.
Right.
Other people will, they will get you off your mark. They will push you right off of it. But not meaning not meaning well. They mean well, but it really didn't help me. But I think that's something I could go back to, because there's a lot of things that you could eat. You just have to keep your carbs really low. And I think I could do that, because I don't eat a lot, because I'll have a meal and I'll eat, and then I'll feel like, oh, I'm so full. So I put the food to the side and
Need a snack.
yeah. Yeah, and I'll go back sometimes to it later. Sometimes I'll go and throw it away. But I don't eat a lot, because I'm not very active. So when you're not very active, you really don't need a lot of food.
Yeah. Well, I would suggest that you start with keto. As Robin well knows, that is part of the proper human diet spectrum. And if that's something you feel like you can do and stick to, I would start there. And I would start with keeping your carbs, like pick your number. When I did keto, it was 20 total carbs or less. And don't worry about, at first, don't worry about when you're eating. I wouldn't even worry about, just worry about getting your food on point. That's it.
Yeah.
Worry about getting your carbs on point. Don't worry about when you're eating. Don't worry about having a snack. Don't worry about any of that. And then once you become adapted to that, then if you feel like you want to keep going with, okay, now I'm going to try to just eat 3 meals a day instead of all this snacking or whatever, but you can do that later. But I would just worry about, let's just cut the carbs. She does keto. She eats vegetables. She's doing fantastic. I think she walks 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
She has all kinds of energy. You heard her just say she went to Greece. Like, I didn't go to Greece.
Right.
I didn't go to Greece either. I wanted to.
And so I think that for many people, the keto diet can be very successful. And if that's something I don't think you should feel like you need to be carnivore unless you go keto for a while, and then maybe you feel like you want to go there. That happens for many people. But there are other people like my mom. I feel like she'll probably just stay keto. She's happy and healthy there. So I don't think there's a reason, similar to you, she didn't have a whole bunch of health issues. I mean, she had like a little arthritis and some things. But nothing with, diabetes or metabolic syndrome or fatty liver, or none of that stuff. And so for her, it was really about weight loss, kind of similar to you. And she's lost a great deal of weight. She looks great. She feels great. Even her arthritis symptoms have reduced. So unless something changes where she might, I'm sorry if I'm speaking for you, I'm just, feel like she might want to go carnivore for some other thing that might come up. I mean, as of now, I don't see her doing that, but I can look at her and see, she's so much happier, healthier, weighs less, all that stuff, that she's aiming for is the target that she hit. She was able to do it with keto, and she's able to stick to it. And from what you said about your husband, it sounded like he would benefit too. If he's diabetic, going keto, I think would be fantastic for him.
It would.
And you do have more options, right?
But how do you keep somebody from because I get in the car and I see Snickers and all these different papers and all
you can't keep that's
all
the thing,
this different stuff.
Right.
In the car. He's eating it anyway. He's hiding it, but he's eating it.
You can't keep somebody else from doing it. It's just, it's every person's individual choice.
But it doesn't help me when he brings it in the house. It doesn't help me.
Yeah.
It doesn't help me when he's bringing that stuff in the house.
Right.
And he's sitting over there eating that. I'm looking, my mouth drooling. I'm like, what's some of that?
I think you guys are on mute. I see Jackie's mouth moving.
You're mute. Mute.
Sorry, I muted because I was typing to Simpson. She's not used to the routine, so she started talking.
I just said, if he's bringing that in the house and you don't want to be tempted by it, just go out for a walk around the block. That's always beneficial.
I take a bath. I do that now. Now I'm not tempted. My husband eats standard American. There's all the ice cream. I'm not tempted currently after being on it for so long, but when I first started, it was hard. So I did a few things. I had my keto things, like I had fat bombs that I would do that I could have if he was having something. There's a million recipes online for those, or I would go take a bath because I love a good hot bath, and that's relaxing before bed too, and it helps you sleep. So, and then a walk, like she said, is another good one. Just get out of the environment, Yeah.
One of the things I was going to mention is that I think some people feel like when you're eating meat all the time, it's, I don't want to use this word wrong, but it's like not always flavorful because you miss the other flavors of other foods.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've done recently, and especially with the weather warming up, is I'll take whatever meat I have. Like yesterday I did a corned beef in the crock pot. And so I chopped up some of that after it was cold. I chopped up some cheese. I chopped up some spinach, fresh spinach, and a little bit of fresh lettuce. And it's like a salad, but it's not mostly lettuce. So it's just some of those things. And then I chopped up a couple of boiled eggs. And then I use a real fatty dressing, a mayonnaise-based dressing.
Yeah.
And it's just really delicious. And it has all those flavors that kind of come together. And then with the dressing, pulling it all together. And if it's not quite, if it's a little dry, then I'll just take some like heavy cream and drizzle a little of that on and mix it in. And it's really makes a good meal. And you've got all those flavors for your, mouth and your brain to go, wow, this is really good. So that might be something, you might.
Yeah. So recipes and flavors. That's awesome.
Yeah. Just mixing it all together and then even letting it sit in the fridge for a while so they can all kind of blend. It's really good.
That sounds good.
So there's some suggestions out here. I just want to kind of bring a few of these up. So Ricky Lee says, order some Wagyu beef tallow. So we get great beef tallow.
Absolutely.
Her husband is the smoking champion, and he does all kinds of briskets and stuff and gives us, fresh beef tallow that we can use. So I know that you know about using beef tallow. And
but
how easy.
I use beef tallow for anything that I'm going to cook. I'll pour some beef tallow.
Yes.
Instead of using any other thing. I use beef tallow all the time because we got a lot of it because he's making brisket. He just made one last night. And oh boy,
I can't wait.
That one was whew,
when we get done here, I'm going to go.
So good. That was so good.
Mm-hmm. We're doing In-N-Out burgers. I can't wait for my Flying Dutchman.
That sounds
Flying
good.
Dutchman.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on one second. We're going to get back to the Flying Dutchman. So pork rinds is a great snack over chips. Of course, you know about pork rinds. Making your own dip with sour cream, hot sauce, spices, and stevia. Now that sounds interesting. I have not tried that.
Oh,
Okay.
sour cream, hot sauce, spices, and stevia.
That sounds
They
good.
have a pork rind that you can you put it in the microwave pork rinds.
Yeah.
They're called Lowry's. And when we go down to Buchanan to get meat, we'll get those pork rinds and you just put them in the bag puffs up. Oh, they're so delicious. I think they barbecue flavor or something in there does so good. Huh?
I've heard of those, but I haven't tried them. They seem like they'd be really good because they seem like they'd be like fresh and hot and stuff.
They are wonderful.
Okay, Christy, what's a Flying Dutchman?
Oh, so we have In-N-Out Burger here in California, and it's now expanded into a few other states, but it started here. So a Flying Dutchman is just, they have like a secret menu. It's not that secret. But you won't see it on their menu boards though. It's just like the meat patties and the cheese. So it's like the meat is the bread and then there's 2 cheese slices in between. So when I do In-N-Out as a carnivore, that's what I order. My son's going to try one for the first time today.
He's gonna love that.
Yeah. And then she'll do like the protein style, which is like lettuce wrapped, instead of the bread. So, cause she's keto. So she'll eat all those veggies.
Sounds so good. I love In-N-Out. Okay. So Charlie says that chips were always one of my weaknesses. Mine too. I mean, potato is so addictive. There are keto-fied chip recipes and products out there that might be useful for transition, but with longer-term view of abstaining. I agree that, these kind of transitional products definitely can help you get over the hump for sure. Yeah. So I have not found a great alternative though for like a potato chip. I have not found anything that is potato-y like a potato chip. So that's that's one thing that I have not found. And then Ricky says, this is my 1-year anniversary on carnivore in May. Congratulations, Ricky. That's awesome. So Ricky beat type 2 diabetes, arthritic hands, psoriasis, and foot pain.
Wow.
Fantastic, Ricky Lee.
Amazing.
Go, man.
And then Simpson says, my anniversary was April Fool's Day. Congratulations, Simpson. Happy carniversary. So
Yeah.
she's a month past her 1 year on carnivore. That's
Yay,
amazing.
way to go, Simpson.
Awesome.
So can I ask you, carnivores, you don't never get tired of eating just meat?
No.
No. I mean, you can ask my mom. I've always liked meat. Do you remember when I'd cook the ground beef and I'd like eat a bunch of it before it was done? I'd be like,
Yes,
yoink,
now that
yoink.
you say that.
Robin used to eat raw. We used to eat raw ground beef.
Back in the day, I did.
No,
for a
it
little
wasn't
bit.
totally raw. It'd be like partially done, but I'd be like eating it out of
She be eating it raw before it even got cooked.
yeah.
No, I did.
And I've always loved steak. When I do get, bored, I don't really get bored. I mean, I love picanha, but it's like, I'll just, instead of picanha, I'll eat a ribeye. And, oh, look, I'm not bored anymore.
Right.
Or, I wouldn't even say that I'm bored. It's just like, I'll just have this ribeye or chicken or, cause I'm not anti chicken. I just don't prefer it as often, but yeah, I'll eat chicken every couple of weeks.
So are you saying that you don't eat for pleasure anymore? You just
I
eat.
love eating. I love eating.
Absolutely love eating.
Yes.
I am not the carnivore that where they say, I just can't get all that food in. I don't know how to get all that food. That's not me. Like, I fully respect that some people are in that boat, and I get it. But I'm a volume eater. And I enjoy it. But here's the difference. When I'm done, I'm done. So like, I'm full, and now I'm not, what am I going to have for my next meal at all? I'm not worried about the food that I just ate making me feel sick or trying to starve myself into being a smaller size. I eat, I feel great. My body tells me, like, I think you need it. Like today I had 3 eggs and 2 slices of picanha. I don't know how much picanha, maybe about 8 ounces ish. I don't really know because I didn't weigh it. But I needed some more fat. So I grabbed probably a couple tablespoons of Kerrygold butter and threw that in with it. Cause I don't know. My body just tells me, like, you probably need that butter. Like, it just sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I ate. And then I'll eat one more time today. So I usually eat 2 meals a day. And, but it's not like, ooh, I just really am looking forward to this meal because that's going to be so yummy necessarily. It's when I get hungry, a ribeye sounds amazing, or picanha sounds amazing, or eggs, with butter sound amazing, whatever it is. And then I go eat that thing, and then I move on with my life. It's like, then it's done and I'm full for a long time. I'm not hungry in 2 hours or feeling lightheaded in 2 hours or like I'm going to pass out. Ask her about how often I would want to pass out. I don't have any of that anymore. So, it's just a food freedom that I've, never really had before now.
Right.
So I see Simpson's question. The answer, Simpson, is yes. And I think we're going to get a little more into that as this moves on. So I'll give you some updates on him when we get to that part of our talk. But the answer to your question is yes, he is. I would really say maybe ketovore. Any carbs he gets are from dairy for the most part. He's metabolically healthy. He's 15. He's very extremely slim. In fact, we have a hard time finding pants because he's man height, but like kid pants have the elastic waist, but even the biggest size in kids is too short for his long legs. It's a thing, you guys. Anyway, so it's not a weight issue, right? So anyways, he does do whole milk, whole Greek yogurt, cheese, things like that. And then the one thing that he has that's a plant is a little bit of the Rayo's marinara sauce on his pizza pockets. So I guess that probably makes him a ketovore because he does have a little tomato sauce from time to time, maybe a couple times a week. Yeah. Otherwise, he's eating chicken, picanha, chuck roast is his favorite, and just doing fantastic.
That is so awesome. I love the fact that he's doing a ketogenic diet. That's a ketogenic way of eating. That's a great thing for a person his age.
That's what I want to get. I want to be free from cravings.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. The person was
Simpson.
Eating meat is pleasurable. Eating this way, I don't feel like I need more. Free from cravings. That's what I want to be. Free from cravings.
Yes.
That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
Free from cravings.
It's hard to stick to it in the beginning to get to that point. But if
Yeah.
you do it, you will get to that point. I have confidence because I've talked to so many carnivores
So many.
and keto people even too on my channel saying just that. Yeah, the beginning is hard. It's going to take a couple months or whatever, to get to that point.
Right.
Yeah.
But once you do, it's like, yeah, just the food just stops talking to you.
It does.
Wow.
And you stop talking about food too, which is like, I thought that talking about food every waking moment was absolutely normal. Like
Yeah.
it was just the normal thing. That's what we always talk about is the food.
Before I even go out to eat, I'm already in my mind thinking of what am I going to eat when I get there? Or in the morning, I'm asking my husband in the morning, well, what do you want for dinner? What do you want? I'm asking him constantly about, he's just, hey, it's
Don't
just
have to
breakfast.
just make it.
Make it. Yep.
Sorry.
But
In my house, so I can say that.
when you did before Dad
I
passed
just
away,
made it.
she just
Yeah.
made
I
it,
just
and
made
he
it.
just ate whatever it was.
Oh,
Yep. That's kind of how it is in my house. I just make the meat.
my
husband
husband's
eats
very picky,
Oh,
Yeah.
and
he
he
can
picks at everything that I make. Well, what did you put in it? Oh, is it gonna? Did you make it like you did before? Did you add something like? He's very
He's
picky.
hilarious. He is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Mhm.
All right. I think we're going to move on to segment free. Segment free.
It's free. Okay.
Segment 3. So, Christy, do you want to introduce this next topic?
Yeah, so we're going to talk, since Mother's Day is tomorrow,
Yes.
except happy Mother's Day. That's right. Unless you're, thank you. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Unless you're, in the school where I teach, we have a lot of the Hispanic population. So their Mother's Day was actually yesterday. So but
Happy
it's
Mother's Day.
That's right. So it's all right around the same time. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to talk about navigating Mother's Day and challenges. And I will say that probably in the past, which, I wasn't carnivore or keto then, we used to go places like maybe my in-laws' house and things like that until I really just expressed to my husband at one point, like, because at that time I had little kids in the house, man, on Mother's Day, I just need a day off. That's really what I need. I don't want to be thinking about, because then I wasn't carnivore and that all took so much mental energy and I just didn't want to do it. It was stressful. I'm like, this is Mother's Day. Like, why am I, having to do all this stuff on Mother's Day? And he graciously, kind of accepted that. And tomorrow I'm just going to kind of get a day off. And I'm very excited because if any of you saw my short, I was gonna, in my short, I told everyone I'm gonna get a patch of grass. Well, that patch of grass is now there.
Yay.
And it's been there for 2.5 weeks. And I filmed the process. And when I go, I haven't stood on it yet, but he said I can go stand on it tomorrow. So I'm gonna go get some grounding in tomorrow. It's a great Mother's Day present. So I'll film that. I'll edit that all together and show you guys, my little patch of grass for grounding. I probably won't take my weights out there tomorrow since it's Mother's Day, but my plan is to, generally speaking, go out there at sunrise with my dumbbells and, get a little barefoot grounding plus, some weight bearing exercise. But tomorrow I think I'll just go out in my bare feet and enjoy my brand new patch of grass. But because we're not going anywhere, I don't have to worry about the food. I'm sure if I wanted it to be taken out, he would take me out. I don't want to fight the crowds. So I have some picanha that I might do, or I have some frozen ribeyes. I don't know. I haven't decided. I haven't thought about the food that I'm going to eat tomorrow. Yes. I don't know, right. But I have meat, and that's what I know I'll be having. And it'll be a nice day here with my kids. So I'm happy about that. And then I'll turn it over to my mom. I know she has plans actually with my brother.
So my my daughter-in-law family often invites me to their family get-togethers, not just on Mother's Day, but at other times too, which is very gracious of them. And they're a lovely big family and have big potluck meals where everybody brings things to share. And I honestly have never had a problem finding something that I can eat. And that includes even at restaurants too. You just pick what you can eat and enjoy it. And at a restaurant you might have to make a few adjustments, like no rice, no potatoes. This doesn't have to do with Mother's Day, but one of my best things is to go to a Mexican restaurant and get a chimichanga without the tortilla, because they come with sour cream and guacamole, and just mix it all up and eat it. So there's always something you can find, especially when there are multiple family members bringing multiple things, you know. So I think we're going to have a fun day, and it'll be nice getting together with them. They're very gracious to invite me.
Are you going to bring anything just in case? No, she's taking the day off. All right, you heard it here, guys.
But I will talk about our home group at church got together. We get together for Taco Tuesday when there's a 5th Tuesday in the month. And so we got together at someone's house this time instead of going to a restaurant. And it was very interesting. I brought the guacamole because that was the only thing I could.
Did you see that by the spoonful?
Yeah, I would have, but I felt a little embarrassed about doing that. But
go carnivore. That kind of stuff won't embarrass you anymore. Right, Robin?
Right.
I don't like to make a big deal out of it. I just eat what I eat, and that, you know, I don't talk about it and make a big deal out of it. Well, the lady whose house it was at made enchiladas. And I'm going, oh, this is going to be interesting. How is this going to be? And then there was cowboy caviar, which, you know, has beans and corn. And I had avocado, but other things. And then there was something, you know, somebody brought the chips and salsa and every single thing. And I said, how am I going to navigate this? Because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, you know. And so I took one enchilada, kind of surreptitiously picked the filling out of it and ate that. And I took a nice big dollop of guacamole and, you know, slowly ate that, and then covered my plate with a napkin. Because I, you know, like I said, I don't want to hurt anybody's
feelings. Sneak it to the dog. Sneak it in the trash. Oh my gosh.
So, you know, I mean, that's actually in a year or so-ish. That's the first time that kind of thing has happened to me. There's almost always something, and there was something I could do this time, but it was a little more shady than in the past. So, you know, I went home afterwards and I had a little snack.
Yeah. Definitely.
But, you know, I don't like to make a big deal out of it. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. They're bringing things that they enjoy, and that's fine, you know, and I'll just eat what I can and go on from there, you know. And so I had a good social time, and it was really nice.
You're super gracious, Jackie. I'm bringing my own food most of the time.
Well, I mean, you know, it's like it's not a big deal not to eat for a couple hours, right?
That's true.
It's not a big deal. When I get home, I can do my own thing, and, you know, I don't have to say, well, I don't need any of this, you know. Well,
yes.
I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah.
So, and it worked out fine. And I'm assuming that same thing will happen tomorrow at the Mother's Day get together.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have been invited to my husband's aunt's house. She's opening up her house, and she's going to provide a brunch for us after church. I have no idea what she's making. I've heard that I don't need to bring anything. So we'll see what they have there. But kind of like what Jackie's saying is, if it turns out, I think they're going to have ham. So at least I'll be able to have ham if I need to. You know, if there's nothing else there, I will definitely have ham. So that's what our plan is for tomorrow. The whole family's been invited over, but some of my kids are not going to make it there. So I'll definitely get a chance to see my daughters. They're all mothers. So, and give them a Mother's Day card to celebrate Mother's Day. You want to add anything about that? You're going to be there with me, right?
Yeah, I call her and ask her if I could bring something. She said no. So,
right. Yeah,
I won't bring anything.
So Ellie says, I'd love to see my family's faces if I just ate a stick of butter at a family function. Yes.
Ellie makes a joke, but I totally did that. Well, it wasn't a whole stick of butter, but I was at a restaurant and I ate like 2 of the pats of butter. It was real butter. Because I was like, the steak was too expensive for a tiny little steak. The other options, I was like, that has seed oil. Like I asked, and they're like, well, it's already in there. Like we buy it like that. So I was like, whatever. And so yeah, so I ate a couple pats of butter and had a nice social time, and yeah, it was fine. Like I said, when you go carnivore, that kind of stuff, I would have been mortified to do anything like that before my carnivore confidence. But now, whatever, I'm gonna eat my butter and I'm gonna like it.
Yep, that's right. So Ellie, you are so right. If anything, I can bring purse bacon, and I may just do that just in case. I'll always have a little something in my purse, and I have a block of butter that I can stick in there and just eat a whole stick of butter. That would be so good.
Would be so
I don't
good.
think my family would be shocked anymore. They'd be like, "Oh, that's
Not
probably
after.
weird again."
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I want to take out the whole stick and not mention it. With eye contact. I love it. I love it.
Yes,
Okay.
Ellie.
So we have some special messages. Christy, do you want to go first with your special message, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I mean, I knew that I was going to give a special message. I didn't like write one ahead of time. I'm just going to speak, from the heart here. So
Can I look at you?
Oh,
that'd be very true.
I'll go over here and hide. It's getting red. Oh, she's getting red. Oh man. No, I have a fantastic mom. And for those of you that don't know, she's retired now, but she was also a teacher. And so I think, in a lot of ways we have that kind of in common, that love of kids, that love of learning, that love of teaching. And it really, I think, made us friends. So even though, she's my mom and I respect her and all of that, I feel like, especially for the last, 30 years or so, we've just become really good friends. And I especially remember, it's a little less now because when you're in the classroom, you need that support. Like she's not in the classroom every day anymore, but you remember we used to talk on the phone, like probably every other day, if not every day, talking about what this or that kid did, or, things like that happened. And, it's just like, it's just like talking to your best friend. So to have that in a mom, I think is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm also the oldest and the only daughter. So right. So I can remember her always, making time for me. I still think back, when I was in high school, and like every weekend we would pull out the cards and we would play some card game together. We'd eat a big bowl of popcorn. That was before our keto days. We'd make a butter popcorn and
lots of butter.
We would share that, but we would always play, different card game, whether it was gin or nerds or just some fun card game. And I just look back on that now like, wow. And I look at my students, their parents they don't even barely know what a board game is, so to have a mom that would take time out of her, what I know was a very busy life, because she, was always had a job too and things like that to help support the family. Also looking back, I will say this, we had like no money. But when I was a kid, I didn't know that we had no money. Like getting the big bag of hand-me-downs from the church did not clue me in, we had no money.
We had money, but no extra money for extra.
There were nights we didn't have meat because we needed to save money. Yes, don't even.
On occasion.
Yes. So,
Mac and cheese.
Other kids would talk about they went to this restaurant or that, Benihana and whatever. We never did that. Never, ever, never. But I never knew that. I never knew that we had no money till I grew up, got that perspective, and then thought about it, in the rear view going, oh my gosh, like we had no money, but like my mom just made us feel like I'm sure she probably worried about money. She had to have, I don't know. I shouldn't talk about it. She just took it all on her broad shoulders and, right. And just gave us an amazing childhood where I got to play outside. drink from the hose. All
Yep.
that
And we lived.
don't get to do. And never like felt like I was wanting for stuff, and just had, so I just appreciate her and what the sacrifices that I know that she had to be making, but without me feeling that, right? I just always felt loved and cared for. So thanks, Mom. Happy Mommy's Day.
I love it.
Okay, Robin, your turn.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to have to follow Christy. She's so eloquent. So, Mom, I just, I really just want to say how much I appreciate you. My mom has always been a working mom. She worked hard jobs in factories and stuff like that as I was growing up. She was always so busy working. But she took the time and taught me certain things. Like there are certain things that we love to do together. Like we love to cook together. So if you look back on my channel, you'll see some of the cooking things that we've done as part of what I'm doing with my lifestyle, with my carnivore lifestyle. My mom is so supportive of everything that I want to do. Gosh, guys, I don't want to cry, but she's so supportive of everything that I want to do. And, she never says, oh, no, you can't. She doesn't give me any feeling like I can't do it. She always makes me feel like I can do anything.
You can.
Whatever I want to do. And, so like her and Michael, who's my stepdad, are so supportive of this journey that I'm taking right now. Even though, my mom has struggled with her carnivore diet. He hasn't tried it yet. They're so supportive of the fact that I'm doing it. They're so supportive of the fact that I'm doing a YouTube channel. So my mom has always been very, very supportive and encouraging and making me think that I could do whatever I want. Now, I was the type of kid that I dropped out of high school and didn't finish. And so I'm sure that probably where I'm at today may be a surprise. It may be a surprise to her as well as myself. But she always encourages me, and that's another piece of it too, is that, just with my, being able to find the Lord, my mom's mom, my grandmother used to take us to church, as my mom was always working. She used to take us to church, me and my sister. But when it came time to actually seek the Lord and find the Lord for myself, my mom was the one who led me to that. And, I remember just, I was a smoker and, I wanted to quit smoking. And she told me like how the Lord had delivered her from smoking. She gave me the exact steps. So I was able to just follow her steps and it actually, the Lord blessed me to be able to quit smoking. I did go back to smoking eventually, but what I'm saying is she has been a good leader for me to teach me especially about cooking. Like my mom can jam in the kitchen. She is the best cook. So you hear her talking about the people want her to bring food. They want her to bring all these desserts and stuff because she's an amazing, amazing cook. And she's passed that down to me. And now I'm an amazing, amazing cook. So I'm just thankful to have a great mom that's a great leader for me. We do talk about food a lot. We talk about food a lot. But it's something that we really have in common with our love and passion for cooking and providing great food for our families and making sure that that our families are, food is happiness in some ways, right? So, and we all know that we have used food to represent joy in our lives. So that's something that we have in common, is to be able to provide good food. Now I'll bring carnivore dishes, but still the people are like, oh, this is good, and it makes my day. So I'm just thankful for my mom. I appreciate you so much. And I definitely appreciate you coming and doing this. You too, Jackie. I appreciate you guys both being willing to come out here and share your stories and help people along their journey. So thank you, Mom. Love you. Love you too. All right. So we are moving on. We are almost out of time. Oh my gosh. So let's talk about a little bit about family traditions and incorporating our cultural heritage into your modern dietary choices. So I want to talk a little bit about incorporating the carnivore lifestyle into our traditional holidays. So like Mother's Day coming up, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, where you have so much tradition there. There's traditional foods that we eat. But what I've really tried to do is make our tradition less around the food that we eat, as opposed to the fun things that we get to do together during these holiday celebrations. So last our last holiday, we got together and played games. Like I have a big living room that's got wood floors, and so told everybody to wear socks. And so we did these running games where you would be sliding on the floors, so just making it more fun and less about the food. We did have all the traditional things, but I did a ton of meats and things like that. Stuff like lasagna, where you can incorporate that as a carnivore, actual lasagna that is carnivore. Maria Emmerich has a great recipe for that. So there's ways that you can convert your recipes that you have for your traditional foods. I even, when I was keto, did dressing, and I did dressing so many times, stuffing, like what you would have with your turkey. I did it so many times till I finally got to a point where my keto dressing actually tasted like regular dressing. And, I tried a bunch of different varieties. And then I finally landed on one that was a perfect replica. And then I went on carnivore. So I didn't get to have that this year. But, converting those recipes into something that you can have with your dietary pattern is really important. So, Chris, did you want to talk a little bit about what you guys are doing on your side?
Yeah, so I think last time I know I've talked about like for Thanksgiving and Christmas before. So I'll just briefly touch on that. I mean, since she's keto and I'm carnivore, it sort of makes it easy because we just make whatever meat we want to do. And Robin, you're not wrong. Like I brought up picanha, and I mean, there was one tiny piece left. Like people liked it, and I just cooked it the way I normally cook it, for myself, and they thought it was delicious. And then they just bring whatever sides they want, and then I will add to that my aunt is known for bringing the desserts, and she brought the regular pie for everyone else, and then she made like a keto cheesecake. And so she didn't at that time know that I was carnivore. She knew that I had gone keto. So I just ate the filling out of there. I didn't eat the crust, which was like almond flour. And yes, there was a little swerve in there, but I didn't feel bad about that at all. I was able to do that on Thanksgiving and Christmas. What's in there? Cream cheese, eggs, like heavy cream. It was delicious. And vanilla. And I just ate the filling, and she's so cool. It's my mom's stepsister. She's amazing. And she didn't blink an eye that I didn't eat the crust. Like it didn't hurt her feelings. It was just delicious. It was a nice treat for me. It was so nice of her to do that because she doesn't eat this way. And she did that to accommodate us. So there's members of our family that are, indeed very, very supportive. I just want to speak a little bit more. I think I've said this before, but maybe not in this exact way, that my mom's stepdad was Korean. And one of his things, I don't know what they're really called. We just called them Korean ribs, but they're made from flanken ribs, the really thin cross-cut short ribs. And I have never, until going carnivore, I had never cooked those for myself, but we would have them at almost every family gathering. Like he would barbecue them. And if it was especially summer, like 4th of July, like anytime in the summer, we'd have them several times a year. Really good. And so I don't really know what marinade they would use because I know there was stuff in there that I just wouldn't eat now. But I do them now in the slow cooker. It's really cool because I'm able to eat that meat that he would make for us and like have those good memories. And they're just as delicious, just in a different way, without the sweet, marinade. But oh my gosh, it just brings back, because he's not here anymore, to cook those for us. And we've had them a few times, but, not very often since then. Since he passed away. But it's now that I've like whatever. I just discovered them. I'm like, oh, they have these here. Let me buy them. I tried them a few ways. I think my favorite way is in the slow cooker. I mean, they're really good. And then I just have a really awesome memory of my grandpa, which I think is amazing. So that's something that since going carnivore, I don't think I would have done that otherwise, So.
I love flanken ribs. Oh my gosh, they're so good. I put them in the air fryer. Absolutely delicious.
I got to try. I've never done air fryer. I got to try that.
Yeah, they're really, really good in the air fryer. Awesome. So, any tips for honoring family traditions while still prioritizing health and wellness?
Oh my gosh. I would just say who you already said there and a few others, but like Maria Emmerich, ketogenic woman,
Yes.
right? Chris Cook in Nashville. Those would be like probably my top 3, or at least the 3 that I came up with right away, because they've adapted so many recipes, and even some of them, it may not be something that I would eat like every single day necessarily, but those options are out there for people that you can easily adapt almost anything to either a keto or carnivore food. And there are people out there doing that. So I would say check on those people's channels and websites, and you can find, some absolutely just amazing ways that you don't have to give up something that's been traditional. I specifically know ketogenic woman, like she has a German heritage, as do we. And she talks about food that I'm like, I never heard of that. I wonder if my grandma ate that. Like, I don't know, but my grandma probably ate it, but whatever. But, but she's made those things carnivore, which I just think is so cool. I think I brought up a couple to her, like, did you eat this? And like asked her about it, But I think there's definitely a way to do it. And there's creative people, that have done it already and, kind of make it easy for you. So that would be my tip, is go search out one of those people, and find something that'll work for you.
Absolutely. I was thinking about you were talking about those ham shanks.
Yeah.
We used to always eat the ham shake with greens or beans or some other like that.
Greens, yeah.
But just a ham shank, just cooked in the pressure cooker and the slow cooker, is so fatty and delicious. Oh my goodness. Absolutely delicious.
These were ham hocks. I was looking for ham shanks.
Okay.
But I couldn't find them. So what I did is I took the ham hocks, washed them, and scored them. And so when I put them in the pressure cooker, they actually kind of peeled.
Stop it.
Peeled off from the.
I'm getting hungry. And
I was just eating them with a fork. It was so good.
Yes, I love those. And then the other thing that I was thinking about is my mom taught me how to make chitlins when I was a kid.
Need some.
Yeah, she taught me how to clean them. Me and my sister, we would be standing over the sink for hours and hours and hours cleaning the chitlins, and that's like pork intestine. So good. That's like a tradition for us that we have. Usually try to have it like once a year, but the cost was prohibitive. Like they went crazy in price this year. But yeah, so those are really, really, really good. Some of the old things that we used to eat. My grandmother used to make head cheese.
Yep.
Out of the whole hog head.
She used cow tongue. She would take the cow tongue, and she would put that in her head cheese.
Oh, I didn't know it had. I didn't know that it had.
It's like I regret my life choices of eating that.
So good. It's so good. I love it so much.
Yeah.
One of the things that our family always had when they would butcher a hog was cracklins. They would cut out all the fat, grind it up, put it in a pot to render the lard off. But then what was left over at the bottom was all those crunchy. They ate it with Karo syrup, so I guess that might be something you leave out.
That's the part you leave off.
But the cracklins with some seasoning on them or something would really be, really be good.
The fat from when my husband cuts the briskets, he'll cuts the fat off to make the tallow, but all of the crunchy, he cuts them all up in pieces, and he makes crunchy bits out of them, and it's just a whole bunch of
good.
They're crunchy. You just eat them.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah,
they are good.
Yeah.
So Simpson said, my grandmother used a whole pig head with beef tongue if available. Yep. Oh, I love that head cheese. It was so good growing up. So I just want to express my condolences to Simpson. She lost her mom before Mother's Day last year. So watching Robin and Christy's Mom's Day live then was a bit difficult. I'm so sorry to hear that. Our condolences to you and your family. All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up. Christy, you want to take it home?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you, Robin, for hosting this. This has been absolutely wonderful. And also to Bernice for joining us today. And thanks to my mom for being brave and doing this live with us. Whoa, that takes bravery to get on and talk to the world. So thank you. Thanks to everyone who, listened in. I hope that you enjoyed it. I feel like it was kind of a good mix. We had some successes, some advice. We talked about our family, histories. I wish we could have talked a little bit more about, the passing this down to the next generation. So I think that means there needs to be a mother-daughter duos.
Yes.
I'm up for that.
Agreed. Yes, indeed. So we are so appreciative of you. If you are watching the replay, we would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe to our channels. My channel is at Carnivorous Grandma, and Christy's channel is at Meeting Wellness. And we appreciate our moms so much for doing this. As Christy said, like, it does take a lot. I mean, we're kind of used to it now, but moms, we appreciate you guys both taking the time and coming out here to share your stories. So we definitely will have another one for sure. We'll just have to figure out what the timing is on that. And we'll come back and we'll talk to our moms again. Hopefully by that time, my mom will be doing her keto thing.
Yes.
I'll be so proud of you. I want to hear from Robin that you've gone keto. I mean, that'll just make me ear to ear, light up, smile.
Actually, I looked at a book.
She'll totally support you.
Yep.
Yes.
I looked at a book. I was looking online, and they're offering this keto book, and I was gonna buy this book with all these different recipes. They had recipes for everything.
You don't need a book. We got you. You don't need to buy a book.
But if it helps,
Sorry.
better get a
You
book.
can do your keto for free. You don't even need to buy a book.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I have a book.
I'll have Christy send you my recipe for my meat mixture with all the veggies
Yes,
and
yeah,
stuff.
write it out for me and I'll send it to Robin. She can share it.
Okay, cool. That's great.
Cindy's here. Hey, Cindy. Happy Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to everybody. We hope you guys have an amazing, blessed holiday tomorrow.
Yes.
Whether you're going and celebrating with friends and family, whether you're taking it easy and resting and standing on your grounding patch, that either way, whatever you want to do, you do that and enjoy your Mother's Day. All right, you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.